Peace and I say. Peace and I say. Peace and I say. I want to talk about the movie Sinners. I want to talk about the movie Sinners. But I want to talk about the word sin and the definition of sin. Sin is a deity. It's a moon god. It's a soul trap. That's what sin is. That's what sin is. Sin is a god. Sin is a god. But sinners, that's what we are. We're the sinners, following and chasing sin. That's what we are. Sinners. I say peace, and I say to everyone who has broken this movie down all the way to its last compound, to the last microfiber of it. I haven't seen the movie yet. I haven't seen it all yet. I'm just previews, but off meditation and, looking at these previews over and over again and intuition, kind of broken it down myself, having foresight, able to understand, the meaning of it to a certain extent. I don't think one needs to see this whole movie to get a clear understanding of what this movie means. And I'm going to give you to a short detail. The movie Sinners. Without any further ado.
Long time. We back now. You twins? Nah, we cousins.
There are legends of people with the gift of making music so true. It can conjure spirits from the past and the future. This gift can bring fame and fortune.
Will somebody take me in your arms?
But it also can pierce the veil between life and death.
Listen here. This ain't no house party. Shit. Y'all ready to drink? Y'all ready to sweat till y'all stink?
You know so?
You keep dancing with the devil.
Careful, boy. You gonna bite off more than you can chew.
One day he's gonna follow you home. You got us a problem now. What the hell going on?
Oh, we heard tale of a party. This world already left you for dead. I can save you from your fate.
You don't need no saving.
Yes, you do. And you are? I am. Your way out. Don't cry. He's all better now.
Yes, I lied to you.
I don't believe in magic. Ghosts, demons. Just power.
Somebody please take me.
We gonna kill every last one of you.
I didn't mean to scare you. Thought y'all forgot about me in here. Come on, open the door, let on out here.
Stay. It's you?
Of course it's me. Open the door.
That ain't your brother.
Let me in, man. Some weird shit going on out here.
You keep dancing with the devil. One day he's gonna follow you home.
Shalom, shalom. Peace be unto you. Peace, and I say, like I mentioned earlier, peace to everyone that has breaking this movie down on a spiritual sense, and broken it down to its fiber, to its final detail. I won't have to because it's been done already, but I'll give you my take. It's duality. You have the twins, but it's always yourself, your inner you, your higher and lower self. We've seen the duality with the dark and the light, the red and the blue, the good twin, the bad twin. And even though they both had their own way, wasn't necessarily good or evil, because there's no such thing as good and evil. You had, more with aggression, more with a calm, cool demeanor. And then, the one who was ready to give it all, and one who was ready to just go to the next place, to the next realm, and find peace with it, So we have our duality parts, our yin and yang. And, then we have the ancestors, because as you know, there's the vampire had seen the spirits. He was a spirit himself. He was, a dark entity himself that didn't come, his intentions were good. His intentions were, and it comes with one's own perspective, what he came for. But his intentions were to come in peace and bring peace in his own way, in his own perspective, and he's seen the power. He's seen the power of the cousin, and he wanted it, he wanted to be like that. He wanted to be like, that power, that connection that we have, this connection between the spiritual realm. You understand what I'm saying? And, the astral realm and the physical realm. And he wasn't able to get it. You understand what I'm saying? He wasn't able to get it. And that's what separated him. That's what separated him from because of his demonic force. Not I am not going to say a demonic force, but his darker part. In duality, if you let your darker self overwhelm your lighter self, there is no movement. There is no movement. You can't do anything with it. Everything is a balance. There's an evil within us. There's a righteous within us. And there's a yin, there's a yang. There's a masculine and a feminine. The feminine, which is more nourishing, which is more comforting, which is more, and then you have your masculine, which is more, logical, aggression, feminine being more nurturing, more emotional. There's a balance to it. And if you don't have it, if you let one overtake the other, you're bound to fall. It's more or less righteous within us. It's more or less the evil within us, a balance. You understand what I'm saying to you? And it's about protecting family, protecting friends, your loved ones, and that goes from every spectrum, whether it been the vampires, whether it had been, you know, Stack and Smoke, and his family and friends, whether it been the Ku Klux Klan. It's about protection, you know, taking care of oneself and those that are around you. And like I mentioned, fighting against your higher and lower self, that's what the vampires, that's what were. That was their higher and lower self. The vampire, the beast that's within, and them doing whatever they could because for righteousness, trying to bring everyone together as one was their righteousness in their own point of view. Stack and Smoke being Stack being the lower self, Smoke being the higher self, duality, you know, be it, yin and yang. And then ultimately at the end of the day, righteousness and wicked, can you balance it? Which one, which part of the scales outweighs each other? Do you understand what I'm saying? Leaving this earth to go to the spiritual realm is the ultimate mission, because we're on a prison planet. We're on these prisons of bodies, these shackles, and the mission is to go through life's lessons, which life is a university. And we go from lesson to lesson to lesson. Each professor, the professor of life, to upgrade, to get higher and higher learning, so we can, to progress and become the better version of you, so you can move on to the next level. And when you finish this level, you go to the spiritual realm. You go to the next plane, which is no different from this plane. It's no different. You just have left this incarnation, this body, and upgraded unto the next. And you start your next mission, but you are bigger, badder, and better than you were when you got here. And we seen that in Smoke. And unlike his brother, he had to stay here. And then his cousin, who was able to live his time, but was ready to go when his time was called, instead of choosing the latter, instead of choosing, to be in the same position as Stack was, which was, the worst part of him, his lower self. And he chose his higher self, but his mission was just longer. And it sometimes it depends on the decisions you make, which extends your life in this realm, this third dimension, before you move on. Your activation on this realm is detachment, to fast, what the vampires were doing, by feeding, that's an analogy for that. You separate yourself from, the carnal taste by fasting, and you could, go by saying, the lustful, the lustful aspect of it by fasting from that, which is a carnal hunger, by fasting, go through a cleanse, detox spiritually, cleanse your body, your mind, your soul, ground, align your chakras through meditation, cleansing yourself, and to elevate yourself spiritually, preserve your sexual energy, what they seemed they could not do, which got them caught up in many crazy situations. You know, study, the ancestors gave, I can't remember her name, who I'm talking about though, the woman who was into the who dealt with smoke, the ancestor, who dealt with the ancestors and her remedies, and their remedies, our remedies, um and she had the potential to heal, you know, by staying literate of our culture, you know. And then you have staying high vibrational, being positive. And you see what that did ultimately through the whole movie, how they were able to protect oneself, and each other, and then being successful at the end by staying high vibrational. You know what I mean? Be Christ-like. Being Christ-like is being anointed. Christ means Christos, which means anointed. Everybody is the Messiah. You must be that. Be God-like, God-minded. You know, and then being a monster. But there's many definitions of monster. But you keep your monster. Um, you keep control of it, like the Incredible Hulk, like the vampires were, like smoke, because it only takes a monster to do what you do, to destroy. That takes a lot from a person to unalive someone. It takes a lot inside of you to destroy. That takes a monster inside of you, you know. So, you know, it shows a God in you. So that's my take. I haven't watched the movie yet, but that's like a short breakdown. I might, once I watch the movie, I will probably come on to part two. Will come with another perspective on seeing it clearly through, because everything was just watching. My take came from watching others' perspectives, watching spoilers, watching certain takes on it, and watching the movies, watching the Sinners, little hold excuse me, watching the Sinners trailer. And this movie is not this right here, this take is not crisp. It's just my take on it. Take from it what you will. I want to put my 2 cents in it, and I hope you enjoyed it. If not, oh well. But this is my take because I felt like I want to put my input into it, and then once I actually see the movie, I'll give you my true interpretation, my true thoughts of the movie. All right, peace, and I say, God bless to the chosen. Godspeed.